It was a rainy Tuesday night in Chicago when she walked into my office. Red heels, soaked trench coat, and a scent of Chanel No. 5. Her name was Veronica Madison, and she was trouble-dressed in silk. "I'm looking for someone," she said, sliding a photo across my desk. "My husband, Thomas Madison. He's missing." I looked at the picture. Sharp suit, confident smirk, eyes that said he didn't play by the rules. I'd seen his type before. "I'm Detective Jack Halston. You're in luck. I find people, dead or alive." I lit a cigarette. "When did he vanish?" 3 days ago. Left for a business trip to Miami. Never made it. No calls, no texts. He just disappeared. "Any enemies?" She smiled sadly. "He made money, Mr. Halston. That means everyone's either your friend or your enemy." The next morning, I drove to the last place Thomas was seen, O'Hare Airport. I bribed a TSA contact, and sure enough, there was footage. Thomas with a briefcase, headed toward Terminal 3, followed closely by a man in a gray hoodie, face obscured. No record of Thomas boarding the flight. That was my first clue. I ran the plates on Thomas's car, parked in the airport garage. Unlocked. Inside, a burner phone. 2 missed calls from a contact listed only as Sparrow. Something stank, and it wasn't the old coffee in my glove compartment. Back in my office, I had Sally, my tech-savvy assistant, and Exensei dig into Sparrow. Turns out, Sparrow was an alias for a man named Miguel Reyes, flagged by the DEA for money laundering and suspected cartel ties. Guess Thomas's business was a little more under the table than Veronica let on. I paid Miguel a visit in a pool hall in Little Village. He didn't talk easy, but a broken finger and a smashed cue stick tend to loosen tongues. Madison was supposed to move something for us, Miguel hissed. 50 grand in crypto, but he bailed. Haven't seen him since Miami. So Thomas made it to Miami after all, but he wasn't on a plane. I landed in Miami the next day. Swampy heat, neon lights, the scent of danger in the air. I followed a lead to a dive bar in Little Havana. Bartender recognized Thomas. Said he met with a woman named Rita, a known fixer with a long rap sheet. I tracked Rita down to a motel off Biscayne. She didn't lie. She didn't have time. Someone had already gotten to her. She was slumped in a chair, throat slit. Her blood hadn't dried. Now it was a homicide case, and my client's husband was either the killer or the next name on someone's list. I flew back to Chicago. Veronica was waiting in my office, legs crossed, eyes unreadable. "He's in deep," I told her. "Cartels, laundering, possible murder." She didn't flinch. "I know," she said. That stopped me cold. "You knew?" "I needed confirmation," she whispered. "He's been hiding money from me. Millions. I hired you to prove it." I leaned back. "You never cared that he was missing." She smiled thinly. "Not unless he was taking the money with him." I found Thomas 3 days later, holed up in a motel in Indiana under the name Terry Monroe. He was scared, thin, and drunk on cheap whiskey. "I thought I could disappear," he muttered. "You tried," I said, "but you left a trail thick as molasses. The kind men with guns follow." He begged me not to turn him in. I didn't. I turned him over to feds. DA wanted him alive. Veronica wanted him divorced. And I just wanted my check. The Madison file went into my cabinet, right between the senator's mistress and the deadbeat heiress. In this business, truth is a shadow. Everyone has secrets. Everyone lies. But if you dig deep enough, the dirt always talks. And I always listen. By Jack Halston, licensed PI. File no number 1442. Confidential. It was 2 weeks after I closed the Madison case. I thought things would settle down. I even tried sleeping without a gun under the pillow. But quiet never lasts in the city. A black SUV parked across from my office on a rainy afternoon. 2 men in tailored suits walked in, sunglasses indoors, FBI types. The taller one flashed his badge. "Special Agent Doyle. We need to talk about Thomas Madison," he said. "I already handed him over," I replied. Doyle's jaw tensed. "He escaped custody last night. killed a marshal, took something from the evidence lockup before he disappeared. I raised a brow. And let me guess, you think he's coming back to Chicago? We think he's coming for his wife. I paid Veronica a visit in Lincoln Park. Her condo was a fortress now. Security cameras, private guards, and a golden retriever that barked like it hated me on sight. She opened the door herself. Dark sunglasses, glass of red wine in hand, like she hadn't slept since 2003. You came to warn me? She asked. No, I came to ask what you're not telling me. She hesitated, then led me to the study. Inside the safe, behind a painting of a Tuscan vineyard, was a flash drive. Thomas hid accounts all over the world. Cayman, Belize, Dubai. I found the drive after you turned him in. There's 38 million on it. Jesus, I muttered. I haven't touched it, she said, because I knew if he found out I had it, he'd come back and kill me. That night, I got a message from an unknown number. A video. Thomas Madison. On a dark road, somewhere off-grid. Dirty, bloodied, eyes burning with hate. Jack Halston, you ruined my life. But I'm not done. She thinks the money is hers. Tell her to run, because I'm coming. I traced the ping to a motel outside Rockford. By the time I got there, the place was ashes. Room 209 still smoldering. He left behind a charred duffel bag and a single bullet casing, .45 caliber. He was hunting now. I moved Veronica to a safe house I trusted, an old speakeasy turned fallout shelter beneath a jazz club on Wabash. Sally monitored the perimeter. I barely slept. Thomas struck 3 nights later, cut the power, slipped past the guards, and got within 30 feet of her room. He never made it inside. I met him in the hallway. We both drew. Only one of us had loaded his weapon. You don't have to do this, Thomas, I told him. He smiled like a ghost. Everyone thinks that right before they die. Bang. His gun clicked empty. Mine didn't. The cops ruled it self-defense. No charges. Veronica cried once and then asked for a lawyer. 2 months later, she vanished. No trace. No withdrawals. Just gone. Sally said the Cayman accounts were emptied 2 days after her disappearance. $38 million buys a new life. A clean one. I keep her photo in the file, next to Thomas's. 2 beautiful liars who dance with bullets and betrayal. Sometimes I wonder if she really loved him once. If maybe, for a second, she hesitated. But then I remember what this city has taught me. In the end, love is just another currency. And trust? That's a luxury I stopped affording years ago. File closed. Weeks passed. The Madison case faded into memory like smoke after a gunshot. Still there, if you sniff the air close enough. I spent most nights nursing bourbon in my office, watching headlights sweep across the blinds. The phone didn't ring much. But every now and then, I swore I saw her in the corner of my eye. Veronica Madison, always walking away. Chicago moved on. It always does. The newspapers ran a short piece. Fugitive financier killed in alleged standoff. They never mentioned her. No one ever does. But I remember. Sometimes I think about Veronica, where she ended up. A yacht in the Mediterranean? A villa in Rio? Maybe just a small cafe in Lisbon, cash only, under a new name. Maybe she thinks of me, too. Or maybe I was just a pawn in her long game. Either way, she played it well. And me? I'm still here. Jack Halston, private investigator. Filing cabinets full of regrets, a bottle half full, and a chair that creaks when the truth gets heavy. The Madison case is done. File no number 1443. Closed. But there's always another knock at the door.